All right, you guys, here is a quick video on the Losi LMT. It is a rainy day here. We're not out running it right now, but I was just putting these new wheels and tires on it because I've been getting a lot of questions about whether or not it can run monster truck tires on it. It's an LMT, guys. These are LMT axles. So the same wheels and tires you can run on your LMTs, you can run on these mega trucks. No difference. 17 millimeter hexes. These are a direct swap on from my Gravedigger. Work perfectly. You could run the Proline ones, or J Concepts has them now with this larger inner diameter on the wheels, kind of like a short course style wheel, where it's a larger inner diameter, shorter, smaller outer diameter like this. Makes it way easier clearance for them, as well as better performance, less roll on the tire and less ballooning, stuff like that. But if you like your old Tribute wheels, which are an awesome wheel and tire, and they're more scale and some leagues require it, you can get 12 millimeter hexes to put on here and then swap those in. They still fit. Clearance is very tight on them. You might even see a little bit of rubbing in some instances, but it works great. That's one thing. The second question I've been getting a lot of is about my shocks. Are they leaking? My shocks are not leaking. I did clean my whole truck down. So here's the thing. It does not have stainless steel hardware on here, and I was all worried about them rusting. So after I finished running mine in the mud, I hosed it all down with the hose, and then I used my air compressor to get most of the water off. Then I came back and I hit it all the hardware with WD-40 to try and get the water off of them and prevent rust. So as you can see, mine is not rusting, at least the exterior parts of it. Even on the bottoms here, we're looking pretty good. In doing that, I don't know, maybe it cleaned off any leakage, but I have not seen any evidence of leaking on my shocks. And I've been pushing on them a lot here because I was trying to get a 90-second reel, basically giving this information for Instagram, and still not seeing any leaking coming out of the shocks. So I think I am good on that front. As far as the axles, I think that the axles are actually going to feel more durable with the lighter weight tires on them. However, if you don't tape off the wheels on them, they get water in them and get very heavy. And then maybe if you're bashing and stuff after with full tires, you know, maybe you'd see some breakages. But I think overall, if you're not going into the mud and water like I was, your tires are going to be lighter and maybe not as much torque onto the axles on landings and things like that. I don't know. But I'm not running anything special on mine. I plan to keep stock axles on my mud truck because I don't really see it being an issue for mud racing. Maybe like I would for some of the freestyle flips and stuff I do with the monster trucks. I don't plan to do that with this. One of the reasons being the body, and yeah. So I'm trying to be a little bit careful there. I know somebody that's working on a little brace here that I'm hoping to get that'll help protect this some. This is a couple multi-piece top here. You can see it opening up there a little bit. And so you can get some debris in there if you're dragging that across the ground and you happen to scoop up a rock and get it inside there. You'll hear it shaking around in there, rattling. So that's a couple things. Another thing that I didn't really go into detail or point out is that the chassis is shortened on the front. So some people were doing this with their LMTs. They were cutting them off to fit other bodies on. Because most of the time, the back of the body wasn't the issue with hitting this. It was the front, having a shorter front end of the truck. And when this stuck out just as far, way out here, it really limited what bodies you could run. So they've changed it on these, and they've shortened the front plates. So you can now run more bodies on this particular chassis, which, as you can see, is powder coated. Didn't do a perfect cleaning job on mine, but it looks fantastic in my opinion, powder coated. The thing I didn't point out is they powder coated the chassis, but they did not do color with the cage here. So this is now looking like the cage of the trucks, and this isn't. And so they flipped it from how the LMT monster trucks were, where this was colored to match the monster truck, and then this was like that dark gray kind of look. And so for Gravedigger, the bottom didn't have this nice green underneath the body, which looks so good with this truck. I tell you what, you guys, I love it. It does make it more difficult if you want to try and run a different body on it. So you got to tear it all down and paint it or strip it and have it repowder coated. So it's more problematic. So that was the thing I think with the LMT, was that people were buying rollers in order to do other, they didn't have to buy rollers. That's what I mean to say. People did not have to buy the roller to do custom trucks, because everybody's getting rid of this part anyway. And then they're just running body posts and the body that they wanted. And they were ditching the cage anyway. It's heavy. It adds extra weight that the racers don't want. Now with this one, it does give us a shorter front, which is helpful. But they're powder coated, so now you have to do some work if you don't want a green or an orange chassis. So that's okay, because we have the LMT one and we can still use that for other monster truck racing things. But if you want to do different mud trucks and you wanted this shorter front end, you probably still would have to get LMT plates or something if you wanted to go black, or take this apart and paint it. So it's the give and take, you guys, right? So, but it is interesting that with this now green, that this isn't green. But you know, I didn't notice it for all the times that we were doing the shoot. So there's that, because this is so standout and awesome looking that it actually probably was easier for them to just do it that way and leave it black. But anyway, just something I noticed that I didn't point out earlier. The motor can is longer, and it's 2800 kV instead of the 3150 kV that was in the LMT. So the added length and the lower kV is where you get that torque and the ability to run the 4S on here. The battery tray is new as well. It's been tucked a bit more, and in this dropping that they've done with it, they also added this feature. So, you know, it's tucked, but they had this room down here, so they added the option to run a shorty pack, which will give the racers even lower center of gravity. Look at that. So it does collect a little bit of dirt and debris, but your regular battery tray did as well. So I don't really think that's an issue. People were saying you have to drill it out. Mine didn't hold water in it, so that wasn't really an issue. And I did clean mine all out and all that. So I don't know why it didn't hold water, but this foam isn't holding water either. So whatever water was in there was very minimal, and it just dried out. Just something to point out. So we talked about that. You definitely want to do WD-40 or something if you're going in the mud. These are shortened. Oh, the shocks. I was saying mine didn't leak. They've also, if I didn't mention it earlier, they did add more threading to go into the rod ends so that they don't pull out as easily. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already, because I've done so many videos about this for trying to get 90-second reel in there. So that was another thing. It is 1.5 inches longer than the LMT. This is a 15-inch wheelbase. The LMT is a 13.5-inch wheelbase. So it is significantly longer, you guys. I hope that answers some of your questions about this. I did put the monster truck tires on it. We are going to take it out and do a little bit of bashing with it, have some fun jumping it, show you what it looks like doing that. Because some of you may want to buy it just to turn it into a monster truck, maybe ditch this body and all that, although I love this body, and mine is going to stay a mega truck. But I know some of you do want the longer wheelbase for your monster trucks and the performance and handling that you think it'll give it. So it will make it harder to turn, but it'll help maybe stabilize it in other areas. So everything has trade-offs, guys. I know some of the racers shortened theirs even by an inch, and those guys were winning stuff. So, you take it or leave it. Everybody's got their, personal way of driving and the way that they want it to handle. But for a mud truck, I tell you what, this mega truck with the longer wheelbase, definitely a plus in keeping that front end down and helping it to get through the mud, you guys. Well, because of the rain, you guys, I'm just going to have to wait to do run footage tomorrow. It's supposed to be clear. It's really not worth it running it in this. It keeps going between these gentle rains and like complete downpours. So it's dark because it's overcast. Just won't be good footage. We'll wait. We'll wait it out, guys. So I'm excited, though. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, as always. Have fun RCing, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear it. And these things are coming soon, guys, September 9th. And I think you're going to want to get one. Anyway, catch you later.